and welcome back to the channel, guys. It's been quite a while. Thanks for tuning in. I know I sort of suck at this YouTube game, but look, today is a good day. I'm in the RX7 and I am at my home away from home, Sydney Motorsport Park. And I'm here today with Driving Solutions for a track night. So I'll be under the lights here at the main GP circuit in the FD. I sort of haven't been here for quite a while. The last time I was here was in the good old MX-5. And it's a little bit different compared to the RX-7 just because it's going to be, I'm honestly not too sure what to expect because, you know, the speed, the turn in, the braking points, they will be a little bit different in this car. So I'm a little bit excited but nervous at the same time. Sounds a bit weird, but I just don't know what to expect. So in terms of expectations, I'm not, you know, raising the bar too high, so to speak. I just want to get out there, get a feel for it, get myself reacquainted with this track and this car and its setup. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be fun. So hopefully the car doesn't break and I don't bin it. But more importantly, I did make some changes the last time I checked in. So let's go back in time and have a look at what changes I've made.
The main focus was to improve the cooling system, and the star of the show is this 42mm PWR radiator. The last time I was at the track, the main issue I had was insufficient seat time, and that was due to reaching high water temps relatively quickly. So the aim here is to keep the car operating at cooler temps for longer periods, enough to string together multiple laps. I also replaced the rad hoses and air separator tank with new OEM items, along with an aftermarket 71-degree thermostat. I got to work removing all components from the front half of the engine. And even though the radiator was advertised as a bolt-on affair, it sort of wasn't the case. In fact, it went in and out at least 4 to 5 times, just to get the fitment right. The main culprit being a driver's side bracket, which needed some cutting. Otherwise, all else went smoothly. The rest was simple. In went the fans, the thermostat, and the AST. You can see what 20 years worth of heat cycles does to plastic. I decided to retain and replace the AST with the OEM item purely for packaging purposes, just because it fits so nicely with my intake and intercooler setup. So once everything was back together, there wasn't much to look at really. The OEM setup has the AC condenser covering the shiny new radiator. I did, however, install this Autoexe strut bar, just to provide additional stiffness to the front end and further reduce body roll. So the last step before turning it over was to modify the fan control operation. I had Omar from Race Only kindly remote in and edit the fan control, so that they commence working much earlier and in line with the new thermostat. I now have both fans activating within the early 80-degree ranges, which has proven to be quite a simple yet effective change. Now came time to add new fluid and bleed the cooling system. And contrary to popular belief, bleeding the system using the factory AST was an absolute breeze, and I had zero issues doing so. And so with all that work said and done, here we are now under the lights at GP Circuit for session number 1. The last time I was here was about 4 to 5 years ago. I effectively treated this track day as a shakedown, so to speak, primarily because I wasn't quite sure how the catch can and oil levels would behave at this circuit. I also wasn't sure how my suspension setup would perform at these high-speed corners. So I proceeded with caution and I focused on getting heat into the tyres and building some rhythm incrementally. With that said, I noticed 90% of cars were already starting to push within the first session. And with that came some traffic as well, which sort of caught me off guard in that I had to be quite aware of my surroundings at all times. The reality was that there was some fairly quick cars on the track. It got to the point where it wasn't easy to stay on the racing line whilst also trying to stay clear of others. This here was the first time I reached some decent speed on the main straight, and I wanted to ensure that I had no mechanical issues or any other abnormal vibrations as such. So thankfully, it held up fine. I spent the next couple of laps refining my lines and my braking points, and really filling out the limitations of my 2-year-old multiple heat cycled Hankook RS4s. With that said, I was still being overtaken by plenty of cars, but honestly I couldn't care too much. My main priority was again to slowly build my speed up. So nothing too special happened for the remainder of the session other than being treated to a smoke show by a fellow FD, which is always nice. Then came along some lightweight, high-revving Hondas, which I must admit got me a little bit excited. Session 2, and with Jonathan in his bridge-ported single-turbo FD heading out in front, my thoughts were, even though I'm well underpowered, I'll start pushing harder and try to follow as close as I can without getting too carried away. During the break, I adjusted my tyre pressures to 30 psi. I also checked all the fluids, so the car was good and I was getting ready to start pushing harder. On the main straight at full tilt, I quickly exceeded 180 clicks, topping out the speedo, and honestly, it felt pretty good. However, I had some cars pass me like I was standing still, which was actually quite amusing. All was well and my adrenaline was pumping. I was fully focused, until suddenly, I noticed a yellow flag, some smoke ahead, and that flyby BMW with its hazards on. To my shock, Jonathan had come off the track. Whilst I didn't see any major damage as I drove by, I did make out what I thought was smoke in the cabin from the airbags going off. And within seconds, we got a red flag. So at that point, I knew that his car was not okay, and was likely being recovered on a tow truck. In any case, I was devastated for him, and I hoped he wasn't hurt. I found out later that he was okay. Driving back to the pits, my immediate thoughts were that this is the very real risk and the brutal outcome that's associated with pushing the car too hard at the track. It's a very sobering lesson you'd never forget. With that said, the show went on and session 3 proved to be the one with the least amount of traffic. I finally got some space to myself, so I'll stop talking and I'll let you enjoy a ride along of my quickest lap. summary, I think the evening was in line with my expectations. A 155 lap isn't fast at all, but more so a reflection of my conservative driving style. To put into perspective, 3 15-minute sessions is nowhere near enough for me to really get comfortable in a somewhat newly set up car at a track that I last visited years ago. With that said, watching over some of the footage, there are 3 key areas to improve on the next time I'm out here. And they are: number 1, I'm lifting and coasting too much. Number 2, using the incorrect gears in some corners, and I'm not utilising the car's power band. Number 3, a combination of overbraking and low entry speed in some corners, which I think is purely a confidence thing, and with more seat time, I'm sure can be remedied. All in all, the car held up very well mechanically speaking. The catch can didn't fill up as quickly as I had thought, and I went the whole 4 sessions without the need to drain it. And the same goes with my engine oil level, which correlates to the amount of spill that goes into the catch can. From a cooling perspective, I couldn't be happier. Water temp didn't exceed mid to late 80s, and I was able to string together multiple laps. So in my books, that's a win for maximising seat time. I'm still feeling a decent amount of lateral body roll, mainly through high speed bends, even though I have anti-roll bars and the new thicker strut bar installed. So I might have to look into addressing that. Most importantly, I think I'm in need of some semi-slicks. I'm also considering running a square setup. And whilst I'm at it, I need to invest in a reliable timing device. And only then do I come back here and drive it much harder. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.